Hey everyone, this is Matt with Milwaukee Road. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a update as to what's going on. First off, I just got back in town last week. I was in Milwaukee for the Train Fest, and I picked up a lot, or you could say I acquired a lot, including 3 sets of the Kato Hiawatha sets. So those will be coming into town tomorrow because I have family coming down from Milwaukee for Thanksgiving, so they are transporting all of that because it's a little hard to take all the stuff that I bought back on the plane to come back here. So as for the layout, here's what I have going on. As you guys can tell, I now have the train's back up and running. Had to run some new wires due to my my lovely kitten. But other than that, like I said, I just got this up and running, so that's why I'm cleaning the tracks now. And after Thanksgiving, I can do a little bit of operations. As far as the new area down here, I haven't done a whole lot. It still looks pretty much the same as it did the last time I did the video. And that's just because I've been so busy with getting ready for Train Fest and the week gone at Train Fest. So that's all that I've really been doing. I did get this done. Now this is actually going to go inside, so then that way it has somewhat of an interior for the loading dock itself. With that said, this is pretty much all that I've been up to. I ended up cleaning up all down here, putting all my scenery stuff up, clearing out the aisle. Whoops, sorry about that. Cleaned up my workshop area. I'm going to be replacing the computer within the next couple days. But other than that, all that I've been doing is really cleaning up, trying to get things organized. Sorry about that. I mean, as you can see, everything has been put up. Everything has its own place. And there's a specific reason for that. And here's why. So as all of us pretty much know, we're always told we have too many things. Kind of goes back to the whole when you were a kid and your parents said, clean your room. Well, the way I see it is, if I keep this area clean, organized, I can buy more stuff because I know what space I have. And on top of that, it kind of shows my wife that I'm taking care of this area. So she's more inclined to letting me get things. More so forgiving me for purchasing ample amount of trains. So that's why I clean this area up, so then that way I know what I have in space, so that way I know where everything can go, just so that everything's organized. But on top of that, I'm also looking at putting my skirting back up. But before I do that, I have to actually cut out for the lower level, because when I had the skirting up before, I never took into consideration the lower level. So I'm gonna have to do that, put some of the cords up. But other than that, I went through, I cleaned everything up. I had a bunch of stuff just laying out, and I know I'm gonna have a bunch more when my parents get here to drop off what I purchased at Train Fest. But on top of that, it's pretty much just trying to keep this area clean, so then that way I know what I have, and I know what area I have to put more trains. So with that being said, I'm going to show you how I organize all my, or basically keep an inventory of my trains. It's a easy way of knowing what you have, knowing what's being worked on, what parts you needed to order, how much it's costing you to keep the engine running. So with that, I'm going to show you on the computer. So 1 second. Okay, so we're out of the training room, and as you can see, my lovely kitten who loves to derail trains is my little helper right now as he falls off the counter. So getting back to what I was showing you, I have a couple of ways of maintaining what I have, and this is one of them. This is my engine log, and this actually, I keep track of everything that I have. Now, the different coloring that you see, oh, okay, I apologize for that. All of us who have cats know how they love to help. So anyhow, I'm going to go over to this area and show you. Now, the way I have it set up is I have the road name, the road number, the type of locomotive, and the location. Now, you'll see I have, some areas that are blank, some that say Ladson, some that'll say North Carolina, some that say Wisconsin. Basically, what that comes down to is I have friends that are helping me out. A majority of them are in Ladson, which I call his layout the Ladson. Oh, he also calls it the Ladson Engine Facility because he helps me program and put the decoders in. And where you see the excuse me, right there where you can see the yellow, that is, I haven't yet put the number down or the type of locomotive, and the red means I have not gotten a picture. Now, the way I can keep track of everything, because I have the brand, I also have the date that I oiled it, the date that I greased it, and I just put a 1 in for the DCC, and if it has sound, any repairs that I've had to do when it was test run, and the dates of anything that needed to be done, and also notes. Now, the reason why I put the 1 in the area for the, excuse me, I apologize again. He's deciding to help me. What it comes down to is right here. I have where it says the DCC and the DCC sounds. So basically, I have 226 locomotives that have DCC in them, and of those, 60 of them have sound. Now, when I scroll down, now what you will see right here is, line 1 is taken up, line 2, whoop, excuse me. Line 1 is taken up, so it starts at 2. So when I scroll down, these are all the locomotives that I have, and it comes down to, let's get over, 618. So I have a total of 618 locomotives, and 216 are DCC. So quite a bit more to go. But the way that I have everything set up is it's all alphabetized and then numerical. Well, first it is alphabetized by road name, then the alphabetized by the type of locomotive, and then it is numerical for the number of it. Now, the only difference that I have is I have the SD60, I have all the road locomotives, and then I have the switchers afterwards. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. My dogs were letting me know that mail is here. So basically, all that I was saying is that everything is numerical, but also alphabetized, so then that way I can kind of keep track of what I have. Now, as I go up to Milwaukee, right here, now, well, first of all, I'll show you this. With the miscellaneous, you can see I have a lot of pictures that are missing. But then under the notes, I have what they are. So then that way I know exactly which one it is that I'm looking at. So that way, it's basically letting me know. So when I see that it's just miscellaneous, the road number, then I can come over here and see, okay, well, which engine that is. And then I also have right here, if I picked it up at a show, like this one I picked up at, in a large collection at the Madison train show. So picked that up this year, so I put that down there. But on top of that, what I was going to show you is this right here. Now I have a couple locomotives that are still on their way to be sent here. So I've worked out a deal, and I'm just waiting on the shipment of the locomotive. So that's why I just put that like that. They're located in Wisconsin right now, and I put that there so then that way I know as I'm going through, I know which one is supposed to be coming. As you can see, I have a couple of Milwaukee roads coming from the same gentleman. So that is how I keep a track of the locomotives that I have. Now, this is my on-hand list of everything that I have. Now, again, this is all done, excuse me, sorry about that. It's all done alphabetically, and for the road names, going to the side, it's not done alphabetically. It's just kind of as I put them in, so I apologize. But the way I have it set is, you can see, like, for example, Algoma Central. I know how many box cars I have, lumber, coal, and then I also have the number of diesels, and as you keep going over, the number of steam locomotives, switchers, and then, a grand total of what I have for that road name. So, if we go down to my home layout, which is Milwaukee Road, you can see, basically this is how I keep track of everything that I have, and I know what I have on hand, which comes down to the amount of stuff that I have on hand. So that's how I designate that. Now, going from there, this is my work order. Now, the way I have this laid out is, I just put down, the road name of what's being, of what I have at the workbench, the number, the type, same thing, whether it's DCC or DC, and then what I actually have to do for the locomotive itself, the date that I submitted it, the date parts were ordered, the cost of the parts, the status, if it's in service or out of service, the location, and the manufacturer, and then also notes, for example, like this one right here, which is a Kansas City Southern, repainted. It was a major rebuild. The motor was blown on it. So it's out of service right now, and the motor was installed, November 30th of last year, and I'm still, I have a lot of this stuff that I still have to be working on, but as you can see, I have everything written down as to what needs to be done. On top of that, then I have what is located at, remember I was saying the Latson facility. Then Wisconsin, my buddy up there who does custom painting for me, I have it all put down as to what is up at his place, and the status, what it's going to be repainted, what's going to be redone. Then I also have a friend who's up in North Carolina who is doing some weathering for me, trying to keep him a little bit busy. So these are what I have up there. Now, I have another buddy who's in North Carolina who does sound. Now, as you remember, I will show you that I have a Little Milwaukee Road N2 switcher. Now, I got it. Unfortunately, there was an issue with Tsunami, so it is back up in North Carolina getting worked on. But that's basically what I have set now. This right here is the list of the locomotive, and this is how I have it broken down. As you can see, the road name, the number, the type of locomotive, the manufacturer, and then any notes that are needed, the type of decoder that's needed, and the cost of the decoder. So that way, as I'm going through and putting all these in, I know exactly what locomotive needs what. So when I send them off, my buddy helps me. It's basically I'll send him this file. So then if he's saying, okay, well, I'm going to work on Milwaukee or Wisconsin and Southern 1848. Okay, well, I know which one it is. Okay, there's the decoder. Pick that one out, work on it, and then that way I can mark it off the list as to needing to be upgraded. So that's basically what I have set. As you can see, I only have 140 of them or 150 of them listed. I still have probably another couple hundred more to go. So but I just wanted to show you guys how I keep track of what I have. Now, the other thing that you can do is if you actually, you can actually have all the pictures of everything. So I have it under my trains and what I have on hand. So basically what happens is if I'm at a show or I'm trying to find out if I have a certain car, what I can do is I can for example, Algoma Central, I can click on this and say, okay, well, I need to see what diesel locomotives I have. Open that up, and then it shows me all of them that I have. It tells me the type of locomotive, the road number, whether it's DCC or whether it's sound. So you can see how I have that, marked off on there. So basically, like for example, my Milwaukee Road. Now down here are all of the locomotives, starting here and all down here that are all being repainted. So I don't have those listed only because they are being worked on. But if I need to find a specific boxcar, I can go through here and say, oh, this is the one that I need, and basically just pull it up that way. So if I need it, then that way I can see which one I have and which one I need. So that is how I keep a track of everything that I have. And it's nice because you can pull it up as a quick way of, saying, okay, I need to see, what I have for Southern. What are my, diesel locomotives? Okay, I see which ones I have now. Okay, hey, I can get this one, or I have that one already. And on top of that, then I can keep track of a picture of it. So, like for example, again in the Milwaukee, as I go to the locomotives, you can see, which ones have DCC, which ones have DCC sound. So that way I can quickly pick out, if I need to find a locomotive that I need sound for, okay, I can go on here and find out which one it is quickly by looking at the picture, or I can go back to that list of my engine log and see, that, okay, well, this Clinchfield right here, okay, it's a steam locomotive. Oh, that one has sound. Okay, I can pull that one out and use it for sound. So that's basically how I keep everything organized. Okay, I know this really wasn't that much of a layout update, but I wanted to show you ways to keep everything organized and basically progress and have a list of what you have on hand, a picture of it, notes about it. So then that way, if you have a locomotive that, for some reason, has blown two motors, well, is it worth, buying another motor for it or replacing the locomotive? So that's all that I have. And that's why, excuse me, as I have another cat in my face. But that way I can kind of keep track of everything that I have on hand, and with where I have it located, which box or uh, which drawer it's in. Um, but it helps out a lot with organizing and trying to keep everything maintained, so that I know what I have, where it is, what the status of it is, the last day that I ran it, last date that I serviced it, any repairs that were done to it. It helps out a lot. I know it can kind of be a little bit of a time consuming going through and getting everything, but trust me, in the end, it works out a lot. And excuse me, but that's another cat in the face. So I hope that you guys enjoy this. Hope that you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and I will see you guys after the holiday with running of trains. So with that being said, have a great Thanksgiving. Be safe if you're traveling, and I'll see you afterwards.